Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today in this webinar. It's Friday afternoon here in Europe, and I imagine you have already made some great plans for your weekend and are looking forward to it. So kudos to everyone who is participating today. I'm Genta, Managing Director at TeachPitch, and today I am very excited and I feel honored to be the host and provide you with hopefully some very valuable information about TeachPitch and also to share with you our approach towards our clients. But before I jump into today's topic and talk you through our new and enhanced approach towards our partners, I would like to very briefly introduce myself. I am Genta Metalia. I've been working for TeachPitch for quite a few years now. It will be 6 years this April. So I consider myself to be quite a veteran around here. Though I have not always been in this role, I've initially started as a curator. That role required me to choose and sift, so to say, relevant educational content from some of the best resources online so that teachers could access and use. Then I moved to another role for about 3 or 4 years. I was assigned the product manager role. It's a role that I've especially enjoyed because it gave me the opportunity to better understand the product and get in touch with fantastic teachers from across the world. Most recently, just a few months ago, I was given the privilege to take over the managing director role, which I'm also starting to fall in love with, though it's a bit different from what I've been doing before and also very challenging, which is great because that's exactly what I was looking for at this moment. So I'd say that from a professional perspective, I have grown and developed together with TeachPitch. TeachPitch, on the other hand, is almost 9 years old, and throughout the years, it has walked quite a long path. We are very experienced in working with educators and educational solutions. We've been able to help businesses sharpen their messages and further understanding their markets. We have trained teachers, whether it was on a global scale or targeting a specific region or country, and much more. So this expertise that we proudly endorse, but also the potential to expand our services, made us set up this webinar and share all the progress we have made and the changes that we have implemented to support your business, hopefully achieve its goals. So yeah, there's definitely a lot that I will talk about, but I'll promise that I'll do my best to keep it as short and as concise as possible. So yeah, we decided to call this session Beyond the Basics, TeachPitch Discovery Webinar, because as I mentioned earlier, after 9 years of successful operations in a global marketplace, we decided to bring together an even more enhanced offering to help partners like you further define and grow your presence in the market. But perhaps to help you and others in the audience who may not be very familiar with TeachPitch, we've included a timeline of events in the slide, which shows how TeachPitch has evolved from its very beginning to date. In 2014, TeachPitch was founded, and it started as a curation platform with the aim to tackle the issue of information overload that teachers were facing online. We wanted to provide educators with the most reliable and credible educational resources so they could excel in their field. In 2018, we decided to add an extra element to our project. We launched the Digital Skills Program, which gave the opportunity to great talented teachers across the world become our digital instructors and train their peers on how to effectively utilize technology in the classroom. We're proud to say that our journey as a peer-to-peer platform has been incredibly rewarding, and we've been fortunate enough to partner with outstanding organizations and companies along the way. We've been able to work with Open Society Foundations in Albania. We have received funding from them to build a dedicated teacher platform, similar to the digital skills platform. So basically a peer-to-peer platform in which teachers exchange their knowledge about the most effective tools to use in the classroom. But this one, unlike the global one, is designed specifically for Albanian teachers. And most recently, we've received an extended technical assistance funding to help us grow this platform even more, and hopefully do the same for teachers in other Western Balkans countries, such as Kosovo, Montenegro, Serbia, and more. And yes, not only have we been able to work with OSF, but we have worked alongside the Ministry of Education in Albania and the Ministry of Education in Ecuador as well. And also have won a tender with UNICEF in 2021. Perhaps most importantly, we have been able to partner with great organizations or educational companies. And in this slide here, you can see a few of them: Spoutoon, Tonis, Sisus, Mindstone, TAP, and more, some of which we're still working with. These are all fantastic solutions. With Spoutoon, for instance, you can kind of create great presentations and even videos. Sisus is an app that helps teachers and students explain maths concepts through puzzles, by solving puzzles, basically. Tonis, on the other hand, is a fantastic tool also. With just a box and some Walt Disney figurines, you're able to help your toddlers or children develop their vocabulary, their speaking and listening skills, and more. I could go on and on talking about each product separately, but that would take a lot of our time. What I would want to emphasize here is that yes, we have been lucky to have partnered with great companies, and each collaboration has been different, in the sense that some of our partners have asked us to conduct a research, some have asked us, for feedback, to create a video or an audio content, and even more. So the most common scenario of our collaborations in the past has been when certain clients wanted to introduce a certain product in the education market and wanted to be successful in their initiatives. So they needed us to validate their product, or they might have wanted to survey certain regions, they might have wanted to grow their user base, and more. That is the exact reason why we have professionalized our service, because we have seen that this is exactly what our clients are looking for. And so far, we have been quite successful in providing this support for each and every one of the companies that I previously showed.
Sorry, I'm just gonna intervene. I just want to kind of dive further into the kind of the strategy change. So with all the great clients we worked with in the past, we basically saw that they wanted to take it one step further, as Genta indicated. However, since our core product were the video tutorials, which took us a lot of time to kind of recruit the teacher and then for the teacher to work with, and we love doing it and we will continue to do it. We saw there was a lot of things that came also as a request from the client, as well as a request from the educator after that video was created. And actually, we weren't really equipped to facilitate any such services basically after the creation of the video. So the problem that we came across was we saw that the adoption of the respective product of the educational company remained limited, because the video only did as much. It was great marketing material, but we could have done a lot more, as well as kind of the journey beyond that. And that's what we mean with the need to customize the technology to meet a specific market's needs. So what we're trying to do now, and that's basically what is marked on the solution end, is we really would like to deliver to our clients an overall service, so we can genuinely help them grow their user base and grow into specific markets, so that teachers can genuinely review the products and that there's genuinely a fit. And last but not least, that the design matches, because the approach is very often about design, what it looks like, what teachers think. It's not only the design of the look and feel of the colors, but also the design in an educational setting. So these are our three overall pillars that Genta will now break down in the slides further down. Hope that makes sense.
Yes, thank you. TeachPitch throughout the years has not walked its path on its own. Since 2014, we have been able to grow with support from Landmark Communications and Technologies. And now, 9 years later, we have joined our forces even more. We've become even stronger together and have further professionalized our service. And perhaps just to give you an idea of what Landmark is and does, Landmark is an international advertising and digital agency with locations in 5 countries. In this slide, we have displayed just a few from many of the companies Landmark has worked with in this past 12 years. And here, this slide here showcases the diverse range of services that are now officially part of our offering, starting from market research, content design, film, digital, training, and the podcast program. So after, as Aldo said, after evaluating all our work in the past and by combining our services with Landmark, we are now happy to provide all of the listed services that are displayed here. In the following slides, I will explore each of these services in more detail so that you can have a comprehensive understanding of what we offer, and to also help you envision on how these services can benefit your business, basically. I'm going to kick off with market research. Well, it goes without saying that we're proud to have a thriving community of over 65,000 users from 205 countries across the world. This growing community has provided us with the opportunity to spread our influence over large groups of teachers. We have had conversations with relevant stakeholders in the past to understand how educational institutions function in certain regions. We have conducted surveys to gather as much relevant information as possible for our clients. We have definitely been of help for many of our partners in the past through our connections in certain regions like Virginia or California, UAE, Albania, Ecuador, and more. So what we have basically done is that we have provided our clients with valuable insights and have helped the latest to identify great opportunities to penetrate in these specific markets. We have done market research for Voclibs, Edcoms, Kinteract, and more. Whereas these services are now have been enriched and are enhanced because we are now offering consultancy. Part of the market research are also facilitated workshops, region-specific research, feasibility testing, reviews, and most definitely monitoring and evaluation. One of our strongest points is the content we produce with help from our expert teachers. We have extensive experience in working with educators who review different educational tools. What I really wanted to show today were a few snippets extracted from some of our reviews, just to give you a slight taste of our work with teachers and partners, because in this screen there is a short video with a few snippets from our previous reviews. So basically, the content our community of teachers creates depends on the specific requirements of our clients. Most of our content is in English, but we also have conducted webinars or transcribed videos into other languages. The main aim of these webinars is to help companies like yours to receive some validation from a teacher's perspective. They're also a good way to inform teachers about a specific product or encourage them to use it, as well as to make use of this active community to extract as much information as possible through continuous surveying and reporting. As mentioned a bit earlier, we do not only rely on our team and connections with teachers to serve our clients. We also work alongside Landmark, as I mentioned, which is equipped with a massive team of professionals, whether they're developers, designers, marketing experts, researchers, and more. Now, should a potential partner need support with design or animation or illustration and more, we have all the means in place to provide that service. Landmark Communications is also an expert in hosting huge events, one of which is also ThinkTech, which was most recently held in Italy, Cosenza. ThinkTech aims to inspire and motivate the young generation about the great opportunities that are available. And in each ThinkTech, there is a panel of guest speakers from the business world and technology who share their stories. Here, we have displayed a few moments from other events that Landmark has organized for Range Rover, Philip Morris, and more. Every step of organizing these events is covered from Landmark and now also part of our offering. And along with design, we also offer film production, again in partnership with Landmark Communications. The animated video that you will be able to see and play when you get the material from us is a video created for the UN. I believe the main idea here is that with film, we cover anything starting from scripting, storyboards, production management, animation and graphics, casting, and rights administration. Now from designs and film to digital. Yes, we are definitely fully equipped to provide our clients with easy to use and engaging educational solutions such as websites, games, quizzes, and more. We have been very lucky to have won a tender from UNICEF, which allowed us to build a digital platform called TeachPitch, which you can see from the slide. This was built for UNICEF and RICO to help teachers from Western Balkans countries, so basically countries in conflict or who have been in conflict in the past, to basically help them connect, help these educators connect despite their historical disputes. Of course, none of the above services would make sense if we would not continuously promote and market. Even offer solutions for our clients to advertise. Now, TeachPitch has often partnered with clients who have requested us to conduct email marketing campaigns amongst our community and through all our channels. We've done so for AdComs, we've done so for Hihaho, for which we have often relied on our audience to advertise for their product, whether it was a new feature or functionality, or to even encourage the audience to purchase the product. And I would say that we have attained quite some positive results there. But of course, email marketing is not only the only service that we offer. We also provide our clients with consultancy, social media support, content creation, events, and paid advertising. One of our strengths, and one of those things we feel very confident of, is to provide training opportunities for teachers. Apart from continuous trainings, which is also core to what TeachPitch does, we also provide training tailored specifically for a certain region. And I can bring in for you a few success stories from our work. During the pandemic, we accomplished an incredible feat, certifying 20,000 teachers in Albania at record speed. All the efforts paid off as we exceeded all expectations and responded urgently to that unprecedented disruption in the teaching process. All of which today is a source of immense pride for all of us. The Ministry of Education in Albania helped us to achieve that, and after this accomplishment, we applied pretty much the same training model for teachers in Ecuador, where again we managed to train and certify thousands of teachers, 10,000 in Ecuador and 20,000 in Albania, so 30,000 in total. So training is one of those core services that we are very happy to provide, as we have an expert team who can help us with designing, assessing, as well as conducting these trainings, whether they're held online or whether they're in-person training events. And finally, we can also provide our clients with a podcast service around their company's mission and vision. Should a client need help with us putting a podcast together, we have a production team that can take that over. We also have our own podcast, The Messy and Masterful, in which we are proud to say that we have been able to interview great people from different backgrounds. And not just that, but we are also using our podcast as a marketing means and providing our clients with podcast advertising, since we have quite a good traction there and are committed to further grow it in the future. This is to demonstrate our work and collaboration with TONES, in which, amongst all the other services, we use our podcast to advertise for them. Our podcast has been successful because we have been privileged to have had exceptional guests. Here you can see just a few of them. During our podcast, our guests talk about their deep challenges that they had to go through in their life, and how these challenges have helped them shape professionally, but also on a personal and human level. Here I believe I have reached the end for my presentation today. I hope it made sense for you and has helped you better understand our services. Due to time limitations, I wasn't able to cover each point in detail. However, we'll be sending you an email with the recording of the video and the presentation, and some extra material that you can access at your own pace. Again, thank you, and now it's time to ask questions. I'm going to open the Q&A session. So if you have any questions or ideas for today's topic, please feel free to ask those by unmuting your microphone or by using the chat window. I, Aldo, and hopefully a few members from Landmark team can assist you as we go. Meanwhile, I'm really curious to know if, first and foremost, if this presentation was of help for you, and what do you think of our new approach? And do you have any suggestions for us? Is there anything that we can do for you? And if so, what is that specific service that you'd like us to provide?
And feel free to unmute. I think it's feedback is always important, as you are aware. So we welcome any feedback, right? For us, it's important to know whether we missed anything, if you see anything. Maybe if you're a teacher, what do you think of this professionalization? Do you recognize yourself as a, I see many names of teachers who created tutorials for us. Is this an approach you want to be a part of? Do you think it makes sense? So feel free to share your comments. So the chat window is here. Let me send a quick hello to everyone. So you can write here if you don't feel like unmuting yourself and talking. You can definitely write here and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. I have one question, Genta. Maybe I should open with that. What do you think which thing to your 6 years with TeachPitch has been most challenging? What do you feel kind of in growing this has been the most challenging thing to realize?
Um, my biggest challenge, which I also slightly mentioned earlier, was during the pandemic. Our team, situated in different parts of the world, managed to train in record time thousands of teachers. We literally worked day and night to make it possible, and against all odds, we made it. And yes, it was difficult, but definitely the most rewarding one.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. One thing that I think has been challenging is, so where, as Genta started the presentation, these services are based on our 9 years of being active in the education market. So, and we see when there are companies who want to, make a move to the education market, whether this is kind of a move, with a product that thrives in another segment and that they would like to also introduce to an education market, or whether they are a exclusively education product. We see that the challenges that these companies encounter are always very similar. The education market is a market whereby you can have lots of impact and you can have loads of feedback, but it's difficult to get actual revenues, right? We want to be honest about that. It is a difficult, specifically when we're talking schools and students, as well as parents. It takes it almost a different language to really specify and individualize the offering. Another challenge that you then have is which market. So we've had requests of people going to the UAE, people who wanted to move to the United States, and California or Virginia, as mentioned before. Now, in the United States, Virginia and California, that requires a completely different approach. So it's not necessarily a one size fits all. So a lot of customization was needed to really understand it. And this is also why we want to specialize and really take that deep dive together with the client so it can lead to actual results. So that, I think that was an overall challenge, and we want to learn from our challenges, and we would like to basically make this a shared learning experience almost together with companies and organizations who want to do the same. We have a question from Olivia. Sorry, and Genta, feel free to read. I don't want to steal your thunder. Go ahead.
No worries. So Olivia says, do you have any specific criteria for the type of companies or organizations you're looking to collaborate with? Not a founder, but just curious. She's just curious. Okay. No, not really. As long, it's not that we have any specific criteria really, as long as they are educational companies, then we are willing to help. That is I believe, the one and main criteria for a company to work with us.
Sorry, Genta, not even an educational company. As I said before, if Tony's, for instance, is a great product that is bought by parents, it doesn't sell into schools. Its commercial success comes from retail sales to parents, right? So it's not by default a product that sells into schools. They are working with us because they're looking for teacher validation, and they basically would like to make sure their product gains traction into the education market. So it's not by definition that you need to be an educational company. Having said that, we want to work with companies and organizations who want to realize something in the education sector, right? So I think if there's that ambition, whether you are a company that is solely focused on that sector or partly focused, then is when we can work together. I hope that answers your question, Olivia. Okay. Um, we have a question from Pat. Go ahead, Genta.
Um, the education market in the UK at the moment is slow. We have had more success in the UAE, China, and Malaysia. Interesting. Um, where do you think are the areas where the education market is growing?
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
would
question.
agree. Oh, yeah, I would agree with you, Pat. What we have seen is that we are, we're based in the United Kingdom. That's where we started TeachPitch. We've had more success saying that we are based in the UK and that we're, we're like British education sells like Italian design or French cuisine, right? So if people know that we're affiliated to something happening in the UK, that has a contagious effect on other markets. I agree with you that the UK market in and of itself, we work with lots of UK teachers, and they're great, and it's really great to get their feedback. But it's true that it's not growing as quickly. I think most definitely when you say UAE, there's a lot more that can happen a lot faster, because people are still looking for the right balance there. You also need to make a very um, clear distinction between when you say education market, whether you're talking education private schools or whether you're talking public schools, specifically when you say China and Malaysia, right? So, and same with UAE, by the way. So if you basically introduce a product into the market, you need to think, okay, who are you actually looking for as your target audience? Would you like to sell your product to private schools in the sector or elsewhere? I hope that that answers your question. Shore, thank you. Thank you for introducing us to Sue. Yeah, Sue was great in Virginia. We would like to meet more teachers and organize competition plans and hear the teachers' view. Yeah, Shore, let's talk. And I know we've spoken before. I think what we need to do is we need to be bold enough to have a more immersive approach to this, because we want to make sure we get more US teachers for you, but we need to be bold enough to say, okay, here's the chunky bit, here's the competition, here's where it will go, here's how we want to do it, here's teachers that we're looking for. And that is also why we offer this, this overall offering, rather than just very carefully just doing one tutorial and seeing how that lands, if that makes sense.
Yes,
So I hope you get that difference from our level. But yeah, let's definitely talk on how we can realize that for you. That's what TeachPitch is all about, and that's what the new approach for of TeachPitch is all about.
yes, it's very good, Arlo. Thank you very much, and also thank you, Greta. Yes, I have been very happy with the introductions you have made, but I need to basically expand it to get more teachers and etc. And I'm looking forward to be working with you. Also, I don't know, we're still struggling in UK, but UK market is harder, I know, to crack. And if any other markets you think, if, for example, if you think Emirates is better to approach, we are open to that. And let's have a chat.
Yeah, let's
Later.
definitely talk. We can. It's all about the plan at the beginning and how far and wide we want to take this.
Yes,
Pat's question is also, and observation is very correct. The education market is slow, but the education market is also overwhelmed with loads of offerings, right? So you need
yes,
to play your cards well to get noticed, right? Now we have a way through the teacher validation and to teachers using your product and giving you feedback and growing it, but we need to be bold enough to go out there and do it. Just
yes.
doing one thing very carefully is not gonna move the needle. Unfortunately,
True,
you need
true.
to kind of, go
Yes,
broad and go wide.
yes, we had some teachers from Albania who took part, they played, but then we wanted to organize competitions for them and the trade went cold. So I think perhaps as we recommended, we focus on one country and really push it forward. So I look forward to be working with you in more details later.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Then we have Zorisbel, a question.
Yes. Are you guys going to continue doing the different webinars where teachers can meet, work together, and discover more ways to improve their teaching? Definitely, yes. Um, as I also mentioned or as well during the presentation, that is one of our core services. We work with teachers, and we initially started to help teachers. So that is what we also intend to continue doing. So the answer is yes, and I look forward to have you in our sessions, because I remember we've done some great webinars together.
And then we have a question from Pat. Pat, yeah, thank you. Yeah, your observation is correct. So Pat's writing for the ones listening to the recording. What we have also found is that in some countries, schools prefer to buy from a company within their own country, and it's often finding a partner within that country to partner with them. So yes, we are aware of that, and we can also, to a certain extent, accommodate to that. Maybe a little bit in the phase before, if you will. So, and we did something similar in Ecuador, where we have, you know, loads of teachers. There was a product that was interested to go to Ecuador. And again, we needed to make a distinction between private schools and public schools. Why? Because the acquisition process for public schools is often government decided. The good news of that is that once you have a deal with the government, it will go for all public schools. So that's the good deal. The bad news is that the government often doesn't have the necessary funding for it. Or if they have the funding, that it's not likely that you will be chosen because there are just so many contenders, right? So what we do before you basically approach the market with a product is we will go talk to loads of stakeholders in that market who can validate this for you. And what often is something that they ask for is, like, we, you know, every time we talk to someone, whether they're interested in purchasing a product, it's true that if I were to go to you know, even UAE, if I were to go to UAE with a tutorial that's made by a US teacher, the UAE teacher would not feel like it's suitable for them, right? It could, you know, it could be 100% the same mathematics, it could be the 100% field, but it's not contextualized, or it's not individually catered to the needs of a UAE teacher. So all our clients basically ask, do you have any material demonstrating that teachers in our country or in our region or in our school like this product? And that's often where our tutorials come in, because our tutorials then demonstrate, like, yes, and here's their feedback, and here's what we've done. So we basically help you to build the collateral so you can approach a specific country, or you can approach a specific school, or a specific school chain for that matter. Hope that makes sense. A question from Olivia. What was the inspiration behind the decision to expand your services? Yeah, very good question, Olivia. Thank you for asking it. So the inspiration was basically our own frustration. We've, you know, we have 9 years of experience in this, whereby we saw that, you know, we hit the tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of kind of, you know, in terms of impact and usage, but not necessarily immediate commercial success in an education sector. And we saw our clients that basically were trying to realize the same. They wanted to work with us because we have this community, and we basically said, okay, we need to approach the market, and we first did that with a tutorial. So I'll share with you, or maybe Inva or Genta can share with you in the chat window the link to our YouTube channel, where you find all our tutorials. So we have loads of those tutorials. So our first service and our main service for the better part of 5 years was creating these tutorials, just these videos. And these videos were then basically used by the companies that we worked with as marketing ammo, if you will. Now, once the video was made, the companies were looking for aftercare, right? So they were looking for, okay, now I would like to do the next step. Can the teacher make an introduction? Can they do that? Can they do this? Can they do that? You know, can they do a workshop? Can we do more? And that actually wasn't part of our services, right? So, and this is why we want to take it wider, why we say, okay, if this is what you want to achieve, you need to be bold enough to take that wider approach, to not only let it be a tutorial, but also let it be a workshop, also let it be a training. So it should be kind of almost a a year's worth of services, so that the country or the region you're targeting is completely inundated and really understands the product that we're trying to get across. I hope that answers your question. Genta, I don't know if you have anything to add here.
No, I think you covered everything. We have had so much experience in the past working with educational companies, so and it was just that throughout our experience with each of these companies, and again, not two companies have the same needs, basically. So we saw that there was always something more that we could do, and that's why we came up with this idea of extending our services to better serve our clients.
And another thing I think was Landmark is a very strong partner, and we're very proud to be family of Landmark. Before, we basically only worked as an individual island, if you will, as an individual team, only looking at the tutorials. But then when we went further into Landmark, when we basically see, the clients they have served with all the campaigns they've orchestrated, all the videos and whatever, that is an enormous treasure and a great team that we can bring on board to get actual results for our clients. So and that gives us a benefit, I think, because we have the team in place. We have people who can help on all levels to make this a success, right? That is also kind of an advantage for us, where we're Landmark is a big organization, and we're part of the Landmark family in that regard. Any further questions, suggestions, observations? Well, if there's nothing further, then a big thank you from my end, and I'm gonna leave it to Genta to close off.
Yes, so I really hope you found this webinar to be informative and that it has helped you to better understand TeachPitch and our new approach towards partners. Again, we will share today's recording with all of you in a week or so, just in case you want to revisit it once more. For any further questions or inquiries, do contact us at info@teachpitch.com, or you can also email me directly to genta@teachpitch.com. Again, thank you for your patience and for sticking with us this Friday afternoon. I wish you a great weekend. Goodbye.